purpley pink, although I don't know if
Dazzle is purple, yeah.
KY love.
Slug is purple. Well, if you use cosmetic, it's purple.
Faces War is purple, right?
Yeah, Faces War is purple.
Yeah,
Okay.
Drew's favorite hero.
we have to stop doing
This
this.
Okay,
horrible draft suggestion.
Do not learn from this.
Okay, so looking at the Witch Doctor though, what kind of combinations could we expect? I know the classic one is Void Witch Doctor, right? You use the Death Ward on outside of the Chronosphere, you get the free Death Ward damage, but what else can they pair up with this Witch Doctor?
You can look for a lane partner as well. I think Ember Spirit, Juggernaut has been a very famous partner for Witch Doctor as well, and
also I think one of Drew's most played heroes as well.
Yeah, I think Phantom Lancer, Phantom, most carries are actually okay, like even TB. I was about to say Ursa, but RR ban Ursa. They didn't really play Ursa anyways, so that's pretty justifiable.
Yeah, I think you can play Witch Doctor in a lot of ways. You can play it offensively with the max. What is that? Maledict, and also you can go for defensive and get a heal at level 1.
Yeah.
Like so, there's a lot of ways that you can go for. I think R still have a lot of room to wait and see what TNC is going to pick next.
Oh, respect to Hustler, Bounty Hunter ban.
I mean, he was a pain in the backside in that last game, right? Just constantly throwing out the tracks, and especially when they were on the retreat, the tracks were huge.
The vision is crazy.
Oh man!
And also the kill gold, right? I think if they didn't run the Bounty Hunter, we probably wouldn't have seen the game last that long.
Yeah, they cut the goal lead from 12k to 2k just with one fight. That was crazy.
Yeah, just by killing off Doom that one time, and they were able to get one set of racks. You know, that was kind of the power of Bounty Hunter.
I think Bounty Hunter is gonna be the the baby of this patch very soon. I think it's very low key OP right now simply because how this hero's concept aligns with the patch right now. You want to play fast, and Bounty Hunter lets you play even faster.
Yeah.
Oh, Doom still taken out. Alacrity didn't really get played the lane because of this Doom, right? He got the Troll Priest heal, and then he got the Ogre Cam armor. So you can see Alacrity, he was trying to just rotate around the map instead of staying in lane with Armel, because Armel just was way too strong.
Yeah, LC as the next ban for TNC, they are eliminating the save coming out from RR to for the arrow. So I think it's a very smart ban.
Yeah, I think LC in the previous game would have also helped out, helped out RR in terms of survive fights against Primal Raw. Like all these disables were amplified not just because of the Grimstroke, but because of the lack of save, right? From heroes like LC, Abaddon is another hero that RR might look at for that potential save. And you can kind of put that on Nuts as a post 5 and run the Hustler Witch Doctor, which is completely fine.
Right, so we're looking at our final ban for TNC. Can we see any signature heroes sort of come out here? Anything that we haven't seen that the teams are very comfortable playing?
TB.
TB?
I mean,
Yeah,
Terrorblade from TNC. At one point, they are picking Terrorblade at first pick. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, but that was last patch.
Yeah, that was last patch.
Terrorblade is a different man this patch.
They went for like Terrorblade Venge against New Esports. They kind of got crushed in that game, but we saw yesterday, right, Adroit, they ran this Natsumi Terrorblade. That Raid Force is way too strong.
Oh, that's a sign for Terrorblade already, the Bad Rider ban.
Right,
So, and like, they can pick up most of the melee carry right now because of this Bad Rider ban.
Oh yeah.
It opens up a lot of opportunities for TNC to pick up all these heroes. RR is just gonna chill right now. They're just gonna chill, wait for TNC to reveal their heroes, and then they react to that.
You kind of need to react to this next 2 picks from TNC because you run this. Voice Spirit is okay, but because you have this Witch Doctor, right? In general, Witch Doctor is more of a slower hero, so it forces you to be slightly more reactive. I actually was thinking of Nuts Witch Doctor and Hostile Spirit, but I guess we won't see that on RR.
Cormorana, or
We
are we
will
looking
see.
at something different?
There's the chance. There's the chance it's a Cormorana. There's a chance it's a mid Earth Spirit as well.
Yeah, because of the triple Rift ban build right now that has been so popular, I think Mirana is kind of back. Encouraged by that, it gives you really good armor that Mirana is severely lacking of. I think Chinese region is also another region that has been playing a lot of Mirana mid recently, especially maybe. He has been finding a lot of success. So Armel, we know that he's a very flexible player. I've seen Doom mid from him last game.
Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised if we are going to see a mid Mirana. It's just that, look, the change done coming from TNC.
Again,
Need some kind of save from RR.
again Earth Spirit. The supports from RR, generally the supports that RR plays are backline supports, right? So you hardly see supports like, what's the support for post for, like probably the Abaddon that I can think of, or maybe a Tusker. So generally, Earth Spirit, Jakiro, they're all good against supports like Witch Doctor who want to stand there with
And
his
channel
Death
as well.
Ward. Yeah, you just get rolled over. And regardless whether this Earth Spirit is a core or a support, I think TNC Predator can definitely make it work.
And
Let's go.
There we go, it's back.
Right, the Spirit Breaker is back. We've seen what they've done with this, and we've only got good things to say about the Spirit Breaker. I think Reality Rift, we can't say they mastered it yet, but I think teams are going to be not really expecting the Spirit Breaker.
It changes how RR plays the game, right? You see the conventional way that this team plays most of their games, and the game that they play with the Spirit Breaker, it's completely different. They are more active, they are more proactive, and somehow their decision making just looks more satisfying to watch when they have the Spirit Breaker creating space for them.
Yeah, because when you're constantly attacking, right, your room for error, your room for mistakes suddenly become way lower because you are not so afraid of dying one time and the game is over, like the one just now.
Yeah.
So being the one that is aggressive definitely have some kind of advantage here, especially right now kills give you so much rewards. So
Yes.
you are able to snowball even easier compared to the last patch.
If they want to go for the Double, R doesn't play Nature's Prophet. That's so unfortunate. Bloodseeker is another hero that I think you can get.
Wow, this is such a beautiful Bloodseeker pick.
This is
It's so good.
this
Mirana,
is a scary lineup.
Earth Spirit, Pangolia. You want to run, you get Ruptured, and then you stand there, Spirit coming through.
And I love the Alchemist ban here. Insta ban for Reality Rift. They say no
cheese.
sudden Alchemist. Yeah, there's none of that kind of business. But I'm liking the change of pace here for Reality Rift because previously they tried to play the typical carry, right? The hard carry for your position 1, then you have your tempo controlling mid. But then now they're starting to show this more mid-game oriented aggression, and they're getting Drew more involved in the team fights as well, and it's really been paying off for them so far.
Yeah, this is creativity kicking in right now for RR.
It's a hard knock on the head, and now they like, guys, let's try something different. Timbersaw ban.
We have to give a name to this Bara and Bloodseeker. They are going to run so fast in the mid game.
I mean, you've
Like
got the...
Ferrari's breath.
Ferrari, NASCAR.
I'm sorry, I don't know cars. So
Me neither. Those are the only two terms. Lamborghini, that's the third one.
the
Mustang, I'll go for.
the one I'm most familiar with is the local Malaysian brand, Perodua.
Perodua. Oh my god.
Points
That's
for
the only
that.
one that I know.
So at least you know the local brand, right?
Yeah.
That's about it.
There's A for the effort.
That's it.
A for effort. Dude, I'm pretty sure it's more like an
You got the
E for effort.
basics. You got the basics. At least you know the roots of what we have here.
I guess.
PL ban. Yep, good ban from RR. PL. They have no way to deal with the PL. Well, just the Bloodseeker, but it's not the best hero to deal with it. Darkseer.
Oh.
Oh, KY Darkseer ban.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're worried of a very classic Darkseer plus Spirit Breaker duel.
Not even Spirit Break, you can even throw it on the Bloodseeker too, right? Since he'll be zooming around the map too. He'll have some zoomies.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want this to be a... I feel like this is still another pick. I think TNC Predator can pick like the Spectre, TB. A lot of great picks for TNC to go for.
Right now they have to decide whether they want Hustler on the Spirit Breaker or if they want KY on the Spirit Breaker.
Yeah, this is a post-4 question right now.
This is now R asking themselves, is there any other post 4 that is going to be very impactful in this game?
Shaker is not bad, I think.
Yeah, another form of lockdown.
Shaker, unless they want to go for Skywrath, which I think is okay against TNC.
If they really wanted to, they could go back for the Tusk, right? Have a defensive hero in case things go backwards for them in the team fights. But so Hustler is going to be taking the reins of that Spirit Breaker, it looks like.
Yep, it's the same quap.
I mean, even if they want, they could also flex between the Spirit Breaker and the Quap. I think this all depends on what TNC is going to pick next. If this is a ranged melee carry from, if this is a melee carry from TNC,
You want the quap.
you want the Quap, yeah.
If it's a range, well, the quap is honestly this Spirit Breaker 3 or 4 doesn't really matter too much, right? Because we've seen how our play with him. He's spending most of his time just roaming around. He's not good at farming anyways, unless he gets himself the Helm of the Dominator. So in terms of farm priority, this quap is definitely going to get more of that,
Yep.
and she should, regardless of the role.
Right, so what could TNC kind of pick up here that wouldn't mind getting run at, that wants to be fighting? can stand his ground against that Bloodseeker as well.
If you ask me, maybe Wraith King.
Wraith King, yeah, I was
Wraith
thinking
King?
of the Wraith King as well.
I think Wraith King is one of the heroes that has the top win rate in this patch.
Yeah, with Wraith King, unless they want to go back for the classic TB, but TB is pretty dangerous.
Maybe go for the real classic, the Rogue Knights.
Alright, now they go for the real classic.
Yeah, the real classic. You know,
The classic of
Anti-mage.
classics.
right? You just directly. Back then, when you pick anti-mage into a Bloodseeker, it's like a provocation, right? It's like you have Rupture, I don't care. Let me pick anti-mage.
Yeah, I mean, calling it now, guys. 1-1. Ara's gonna take this.
1-1.
I mean, you're picking anti-mage and ducks into the Bloodseeker. We have seen a lot of times how Bloodseeker just destroy the anti-mage. And also, I think Aras, they have a really fast tempo draft. And I think they are going to outskill and outpace TNC.
Yeah, when you look at 4 members from RR, 5 members from RR can definitely deal with TNC if they play together. They
1-1.
just want to play as a unit. My prediction was 1-1, so benefit of doubt, right? Last game was a fluke. This
Okay.
game should be better.
10 seconds remaining.
1-1. The game should be starting in just a moment, folks. But I got to ask you before we go into the game. This draft, how would we rate Reality Rift out of 10 for evolving over the course of this tournament? Of course, alongside the patch.
I'll give them an 8 out of 10, and maybe +1 for the creativity. And also maybe +0.5 for the car for the courage.
9.5.
So 9.5. Alright. I like the courage. I think this is very hard for a team to pull out though, because looking at Boom, looking at New Esports, they didn't have the courage to put out something crazy. So we have to give credit to this.
Yeah, I think his opinion summarizes everything.
How about TNC coming into the new patch as well? Of course, we've seen TNC run their usual business before the patch, but now do you think they've kind of changed, or are they just adapting to what's being thrown at them?
I think they are slowly adding in some kind of element to the new meta.
Yeah.
For the new patch, we have seen Doom just now, and this game, unfortunately, they are going back to the traditional anti-mage.
Yeah.
So
I mean, there are hero pools from can fit into multiple patches, and that is the good thing about them, right?
True.
You can kind of put them in the archives when the patch does not favor
我
that
是一
hero,
个没
and
有
once
感
that
情
looks
的
good,
刷
just put
钱
it back
机
out.
器。
And that's how TNC has been kind of been playing so far.
Yeah. Well, looks like the game is ready, so let's jump into the second game.
Someone called that dog.
Prepare for battle. Prepare
Oh.
for battle.
Out with the old, in with the new. Forget about game 1. This is game 2, RR against TNC. Pitch up KRXY. Actually, no, it's actually was it Hustler Void? I feel like KRXY is on Spirit Breaker, Alacrity on that Queen of Pain.
Ooh, we are seeing some new business. This is really interesting. Okay.
Well, they've been, I would say, you know, general consensus is that RR has been more, one of the more rigid teams in terms of how they assign their roles, in terms of the hero they play. But it's a fresh outlook on how they are adapting, even though there's still some questionable decisions and minor mistakes that you see from them every once in a while. But this is a good change for them.
This is really interesting because we
30
had this
seconds to
discussion
battle.
last
30
night
seconds
how
to battle.
out of all the players on Reality Rift, it seems that Hustler seems to be the most open to change. He's willing to take on new heroes every time, right? He's played the Weaver now he's going to be adding the Spirit to his arsenal of heroes. It almost seems like you never know what he's going to play.
Yeah, and that also contributes. The fact that it contributes to that is also because RR, first they know Hustler's capabilities, right? He's like the shining Mongolian star. They trust him with his flexibility, and they are willing to play around it. And I think that's very important.
This is going to be crazy because most teams would kind of look towards the cores, right? The mids, the off lanes, the carries. You want more worried about those hero pools, but then now you're dealing with a position 4 that we've seen what he can do. He can be very active. He can be very aggressive with his playstyle, and we've also seen occasions where he's independent, where we've seen him on the other side of the map getting solo kills on a Scarif mage, creating space for Alacrity and Drew. So we might be coming into this dynamic where if you play against Reality Rift, you can't just look at the cores anymore. You've got to be looking at the supports too. And that opens up the hero pools for everyone else.
Yeah, and Alacrity will be going up against RMF's Earth Spirit. We kind of expected this to happen, and we're gonna get that matchup. KP on the Pango and Gabby on Anti-Mage. So basically March Jakiro, and of course the Mirana once more. This mid matchup should be fine for Alacrity. He shouldn't be taking too much harassment from Armel, unless they get the setup, right? The setup from TNC is actually pretty decent if they kind of rotate teams. You rolling boulder into the Sacred Arrow is pretty doable. But this KYXY, Bara, and Voice Spirit should be able to really pressure Gabby in the stages of the game.
This is a terrifying lane actually, because of course we've seen what happens when you play Spirit Breaker. If you get one of those clutch bashes in, that almost certainly grants you that kill, right? And of course you're pairing this up with a Void Spirit in the lane as well. Looks like first blood.
KP, you have the thirst from Drew. Yep, that's first blood.
Bloodseeker kicking into play already.
Twin shall not thirst for long.
And you want to keep this going. I think Bloodseeker, another hero, because of the drums, the drums buff, he generally loves that item. So if you can play fast enough, the drums for Bloodseeker would really contribute in how you can constantly run at TNC.
Of course, for the Spirit Breaker too, right? Both of these heroes want to run you down.
I like how when you use both those, he says endurance drum, if you kind of pay attention to the voice line. He's kind of a tribute to Spirit Breaker and that item. Because back then when you buy Drum of Endurance on Spirit Breaker and you use it, he will say that, but they kind of integrated it into his bulldozer, so that's something pretty interesting. But speaking about KYXY, it's gonna get run down by Gabby, and well, he's gonna die. Hustler out of mana. He will also be a victim and anti-mage. This is the start you want. He's definitely gonna try and go for a double kill. No, Hustler gets out with his life. But you don't really want to trade into much though. The Dwarf Breath.
Oh, is that
a lot of burn damage with the Liquid Fire.
Looks like it just survived Tango's good item. We got a charge coming in though. It looks like KYXY wanting to some pressure back in that lane. But Hustler, so I'm curious to know what we can kind of expect on this support Void Spirit. Like, what's his goal going to be for the team? Is it supposed to be chaos? Is he supposed to be the one to help clean up for the team? Is he simply there for the silence? Like, what's he really supposed to be doing? Maybe setting up with a Yule?
Yeah, I mean, Use is like the bread and butter for a Void Spirit, and Void Spirit kind of is like an Ember Spirit, I guess, in sense like Ember Spirit or Pango or a Mirana support, where you can play him as a support with minimal resources, but the dash output that he provides is still pretty immense. Hustler's gonna suicide. Oh, well, much still got the kill, and it's slightly unlucky, but well, it's a quick trip back home, and he can kind of deliver whatever items that KYXY has purchased back into the lane when he respawns.
Yeah, looking at the CS situation so far, it looks like mid is tied up, whereas if you take a look at the Bloodseeker and Spirit Breaker, they are actually leading their lanes, only slightly at the moment. We might see them pushing further on ahead later on, but it looks not so bad here for Reality Rift. They're just slowly trying to edge their way closer towards that mid game, because of course the earlier they can start executing these ganks with the charges as well as the Bloodseeker ruptures, the better, because they want to start picking up the golden tips they have.
Not turning around with paralyzing cast. Here comes the Blood Right. Tim leaps out from that, but now you have a really angry Bloodseeker on your tail. He will Doctor. Pretty close call. But we saw Gabby. He started off with the Orb of Venom, and Orb of Venom plus the Jakiro in lane is absolutely atrocious to kind of run away from.
Yep. Oh, looks like bottom lane, not so much action. Oh, mid lane though, there's a big arrow. That's going to be on the Queen of Queen as well. Alacrity!
We talk about the setup. Alacrity not going to survive that, but you have the charge from KYXY Armel. Managing to sidestep that Aether Remnant just barely. Hustler with the hit. KYXY coming through. Armel charged on and Hustler will claim the kill. KYXY now needs to kind of de-aggro, and he does manage to do so. But Hustler pretty aggressive. KYXY is thinking about it. Maybe not the best choice, as Armel's going to respawn in less than 10 seconds.
Very risky if you try to go for that one, so just play it safe. But they did lose Alacrity in process. That is unfortunate. You don't want to lose your Cop during the laning phase, because of course she needs to snowball early for the team. She'll be doing the majority of the damage early on until Drew catches up alongside KYXY. But small KYXY. They're actually going to jump onto the Spirit Breaker.
Yeah, pretty dangerous. He just runs in middle of everything. He has the Bulldoze. but there goes all his health and mana.
Much is an absolute pain in the backside in this lane, because if you get hit by that dual breath, the slow, Spirit Breaker, he relies on his mobility to sort of play around in these team fights, but if he's slow, he has to retreat, and of course he takes a load of damage in the process. And what can you really expect from a Void Spirit as support? How is that hero going to really protect you? It really doesn't.
And I feel like RR, they are playing the same playstyle as they did previously in their previous series, where KLXY, he picks the Spirit Breaker, but you can see the farm priority. He's giving it a lot onto Hustler, because Hustler previously, the Weaver support, rushes the Axe, same as this Void Spirit, right? He contributes way more when he has that use scepter. So the priority is going to constantly shift between KLXY and Hustler, and I think this is the right move that RR is doing right now. Identifying which hero can provide more in the long run with items, and definitely going to be that Void Spirit.
Yeah. And the lanes have to go well here for Reality Rift, because of course their timing is to just fight as soon as they can. So they will continue farming. So far it just looks like TNC, they're actually trying their best to slow this down, get these kills here and there, prevent these heroes from hitting that level 6 at their optimal timing, even by a minute even, especially with a draft that's so mid-game oriented, because if we look at the overall draft, late game is definitely in favor of TNC. There is the only one that can really compete with the anti-mage is that Bloodseeker, but even an anti-mage more or less outscales the hero.
Oh yeah.
So the mid-game timing super important, but we are seeing some aggressive movements already. Alacrity and Hustler positioning themselves behind the tier 1 in that mid
Dangerous for
lane.
teams. Shadow point.
I'm very sure they know as
Oh,
well.
800. Oh, he leaps out of that.
Continue charging. Maybe hoping Tim's comes out of position.
KLXY? No. It's the arrow. He's a point blank arrow. You can stop the charge anytime you want. But Cliff's now used by TNC and Tim. You have to be really careful. Armel runs to KLXY, but he eats the lantern.
Looks like they won't be able to gank that mid lane. Yeah, so Tim's a point.
Radiant's
So
top
this is a pretty
tower
big
is under
rotation,
attack.
because they've opened up that lane. Looks like Rupture got used, but insta TP.
Yeah, you have no setup. Then you start to cancel the rupture. Oh, it's an easy TP out. And all this time, this anti-mage has been getting free farm. On top of that one kill that he got, Gabby, to pretty happy about that. But Silver Lining for RR drew also the early kill, and what a perfectly timed counter spell.
That's unfortunate circumstances of running something like a witch doctor.
Yeah.
The projectiles against the anti-mage, it's really hard to land it unless someone sets up for you.
Yeah, he has time to just wait for the coconut to start up to hit him.
Oh, Moonlight
First,
Shadow.
Moonlight Shadow, Armel. Looking at KLXY, but Big can kill him. Armel is thinking about the KLXY. If he steps across that banner, they should be able to find him.
Very sure they know about it too. The positioning for everyone across the board. So no kills for TNC for their first Moonlight Shadow.
And while all of this was happening, you can see Hustler just farming as much as he can. Generally not afraid of the Earth Spirit. Gabby getting found, but yeah, Lackery knows better than to use that poison on him.
Maybe he was hoping to get a preemptive spell shield there from Gabby. Just get it popped early. Maybe they could have tried to fight into the anti-mage, but even then it's a very big task.
I mean, if Gabby kind of loses his timing, he can just make the way from here. Down to charge. Mass TP from TNC. I think RR to get out. KLXY runs away. Lackery chose to use Sonic Wave, but he just eats the mana void and dies. TNC able to kill off this Queen of Pain. And RR, this is not the engage you want.
No.
They might lose nuts. The Hustler is there to back him up. Tim leaps away. It's the paralyzing cast. KLXY is going to turn his attention onto Tim, who gets pulled back with the Aether Remnant. Does he have a lead? I don't think he does. Blood right on top of him. He just burns down to the Astral Step. And now Mark's in a bit of a danger, but RR right in. Throws down the Magnetize. And Hustler really taking down through those darts. And he's going to fall through that damage over time. Bit of a trade kill. Gabby though now, a lot of low health to clean up with the ice path on top of the blood right. Gabby's not gonna care. He's gonna beat up Drew. Double kill for Armel. Magnetize continues to burn down the rest of RR. Then right onto Nuts. Yep. They found him as well. That's kick free for Gabby and TNC to get a huge fight.
Oh, that's a big loss for Reality Rift. And that was a very weird engagement as well because they just wanted to grab a small kill onto the Mirana, but they were struggling to take Tim's down. And it just seemed like they pushed the issue too soon. And of course, there were so many TNC heroes up there. They all reinforced to protect that anti-mage. And so the aggression from Reality Rift just might be too soon and doesn't really feel like they're ready to kill anyone.
Yep.
And again, another attempt potentially thwarted unless, yeah, KP should be fine there.
Yeah, okay. Well, they do get the bounty rune. This is something that RR can be happy about, but no way to kill KP.
It really hurt to lose a Liquipedia there, though, and there was a kill for the anti-mage too. That's supposed to be your campaign's supposed to be that big ticking time bomb for that mid game to make TNC, you know, worry about going into the late. Or is this game going to end before 30 minutes before anti-mage becomes a factor? But if you're TNC, you've got to be so happy with your position here.
Oh, Gabby cancels his TP. Backup is coming in though from TNC.
Why not? He's got all that regen to work with. They could just turn on to Drew.
Yeah. You need to be careful. No rupture, no blood right. Armel.
This Bloodseeker is
Perfect
just
angle.
not threatening at all. And look, they're just not afraid of the Bloodseeker. Typically, you're supposed to be this really, you know, the big bad Bloodseeker that you got to worry about the rush. But I don't know, Drew just looks like a puppy here. You don't really want to be afraid of him. You're just looking at him.
No rupture. Well, magnetize. They use everything. Got the blood right and great pass. You guys bounce between the AM and the Earth Spirit. Armel. Dramatic Sonic Wave blows right through his Earth Spirit and Half-Sun jumps in. They have to jump onto Marsh. KP rolling through, trying to create distance from the rest of RR, but RR says here comes KYXY right on top of Marsh. Bulldogs use as well, looking for the greater bash. Marsh throws out the ice bomb, sidestep as KYXY just stands his ground and delivers a painful death on Marsh. Drew's not gonna get it, nope. Nut says, let me have that.
Oh, Nuts coming in.
Big mana boy from Gabby, really ambitious, but sometimes ambitions don't pay off. And this is one of those times Gabby, now he gets tipped in return.
Ooh.
Ambitious,
Wow.
but R has been waiting for a while to press that button. You do this to Drew in the last game, let me tip you for trying to burst one out with the mana boy.
Yeah, he didn't really need to take Gabby there, but maybe he thought he'd just be able to come in, grab that cheeky kill and get out. But maybe it's the game of conditioning, you know, you make them feel a certain way and then they get used to it. So Gabby thought, I want to have
I'm gonna try something.
I'll try something new, right? New patch, new mindset. It's not the old Gabby.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Amazing.
Too right there, Gabby. Looks like we got a tower there as well for TNC.
Faded brooch fake for the Spirit Breaker, but it seems like KOXY is holding onto the broom handle. There we go, more of the Dominator to help him with farming. Go for the power threats next. And in the previous game, TNC has been the one playing fast and furious, getting control of the enemy jungle, but because of our lineup, they are able to do that right now. And you kind of just want to starve out this anti-mage, especially when he got 3 kills early on. That really speeds up his timing of this Battle Fury.
Yeah, I don't really think they're afraid of the anti-mage, to be honest. Nice little pick up there to grab the Witch Doctor, very squishy hero, but yeah, it's supposed to be Reality Rift to actually take control of this game, but so far it just seems like it's a back and forth from teams who've taken the game into their own hands to try and get these kills, and I think, to be completely honest, TNC have had a much easier time getting these kills. They're more organized. The way that they gank, it's very systematic. It's very simple, right? They don't have to wait for all these spells to land to get the kill. Whereas if you're looking at Reality Rift, you've got to hope that the charge lands, then you have to hope that the coconut bounces as well, and then you have to also pray that Drew's going to be there in time. But it's just... some of it just comes down to luck, right? The coconut bounces and hoping that you get bashes. It's almost like too much RNG to play reliably.
Alakri is looking for Gabby, but
There's no way.
Walked the wrong way.
There's no way they killed the anti-mage.
If he was able to stick on top of Gabby, he would have killed him, no problem, but he kind of couldn't follow him into the tree lines and Gabby dodged a bullet right there. Use completed by Hustler, 40-minute use for a post for Spirit.
Is this the time
Yeah.
to start?
It's a great timing for Hustler. he's been getting most of the comments. Speaking of that, KYXY getting rolled through by AP's rolling. He's gonna sidestep that with a bit of key footwork, waiting for a shot of down. Came back online, but trying to find a target to use it on, and he's gonna lose his Pokemon as well. KP will find a kill. Meanwhile, though, Hustler on, but the damage from Nuts not enough. Armel and Mark getting the kill onto Nuts. So running with counter. True Magnetai still on. And the mana of Gabby will finish off both the Queen of Pain and the Void Spirit. So it's TNC getting 4 kills.
Is this an anti-mage or is this some new hero that I'm not aware of? Gabby has been participating in almost all of these fights with the Mana Void. It feels so uncharacteristic for an anti-mage, but it's working out for the team because they convincingly won that fight in the river. It could have been the other way around and they may have lost their own teammates, but my goodness, it's just so organized.
Yeah, farming the bottom side of the map for a while. Also, it wasn't that hard for him to join that fight, especially when RR do everything trying to kill off Armel and they barely got him.
So, when is this timing supposed to be coming for Reality Rift? Because honestly, it just doesn't feel like they're in control of the game. They're not leading in network, they're not leading in towers, they're not controlling the map at all. It just feels like they're kind of grabbing these small kills but not going away with it.
The light silence should be able to kill Armel this time. The Maledict and Armel caught out. That's the
Oh, Gabby gets Embers.
late meal completed for Armel. Just wants to stand in the middle of the fight and take everything. The tier 1 taken down. TP's coming in TNC, but they have second thoughts about that.
They grab the tower at least. They gotta start taking these towers away, map control away, make TNC feel unsafe, but after that tower they just go back into the jungle. We're still waiting for this Orchid timing for Alacrity, but I feel like it's not gonna hit the sweet spot. This is gonna be a later Orchid.
Yeah. So a good item against the anti-mage before his ban is down, but he's getting Annette, leaps away from Nuts, make sure that he doesn't catch a coconut in the face, but Drew, he's searching pretty low. Go back up with that Blood Rage. He's just playing on the edge, managing to get away with that.
My goodness, this anti-mage is doing so well.
Now he's the Yasha defeated. They do manage to find Tim's as Hustler, doing the D. Now KYXY gets a charge. Drew still running in, but Spirit Vessel pretty dangerous. Drew just living life on the edge as Tim will be taken out. Nuts does go down. Great Sonic Wave to prevent Armel from rolling on to Hustler.
Oh, we got a pause as well. Uh-oh, who's... Oh, it's Armel that lagged.
Yeah, well, slightly unfortunately. Well, at least the fight has yet to happen.
Is there any other detection on the side of Reality Rift, or is it just that sentry that they have there? Because you're going up against a Mirana, of course you would need detection to deal with Moonlight Shadow, but it almost feels like they only have sentries. They don't have dust.
No, they're not yet.
I don't think they do.
Most of the time it's going to be KYXY or Lacry carrying in the dust, but we'll see.
Uh-oh.
This is Armel, yeah.
Oh, 200 ping.
Yep.
That's not super.
So Armel. But he can afford to have this happen, right? He did carry game 1.
Of course he did. Played fantastic game 1. He is I mean, he's doing okay on the Earth Spirit this game, but not the same level as that last game. He was just so dominating on the Doom, and now he's sort of mellowed out as this Earth Spirit.
Yeah, but Earth Spirit is still pretty strong.
Of course.
At this, doing this timing, he's been providing so much in those team fights.
The Magnetize is actually quite devastating, considering how squishy some of these heroes on Reality Rift are.
Oh yeah.
Like Nuts will melt to it, take a good chunk out of Hustler, and even Alacrity. Alacrity's not really that tanky either, because when you build an Orchid, you don't get HP.
KYXY onto Armel.
Detection.
Ooh, another bad header strike. From back, he's bringing the road side. He gets used from the slot. Now Hustler just go right down in the ice. Other KB will try through. They get the rupture though. Might go down. Walking into the macro fire, and here comes through onto this Tim. EP, excuse me, but KB joins the fight. Let's down through with Mana Void, and Reality Rift is not able to win this fight.
They couldn't pick them off. It seems every time they come into these team fights, they just run out of damage at the last minute. And then all of a sudden it just turns into TNC's favor. The Orchid... Oh dear.
Probably try.
Yeah, I'm not sure if trying is enough here. Like, he is the debut of that Orchid, but It can pretty kill this anti-mage. It looks like it won't be able to.
No Sonic Wave. Slightly unfortunate, but they find Tim. As Harmless gonna start the engage off. Shadow from the top of him. Tim is not able to get out, just get whipped to death. There we go.
Alright, so the debut of that Orchid, TNC will be aware of this now in Alacrity's arsenal, but are they really afraid of this Orchid?
Well, this all definitely does provide both Alacrity and Hustler a lot of ways to pick people off. Them enable them to be more aggressive. This is my arm now. But Armel is a tough cookie to crack. The Orchid on top of him. Here comes Rolling Thunder from KP though. Hustler in a really dangerous position to simulate. He's not going to fight anything. KYXY, they get the rupture on top of Armel. These guys definitely dead in terms in the blood right. Easy kill for RR. This time they make it work out.
You know, I'm actually liking this now. Reality Rift, they are picking up the tempo. They are constantly fighting whenever the rupture is off cooldown. And this is huge because if you take a look at TNC, a lot of their team fight revolves around having the ultimates available, having the Rolling Thunder, the Magnetize to push Reality Rift back, but because these are longer cooldowns, and even Moonlight Shadow as well for repositioning. The fact that these have pretty long cooldowns means that they're not reliably going to have every single fight, which means that the pickups, they should go in Reality Rift's favor unless they take a little bit too long to try and get these executed. Looks like we get another kill here, KP.
Oh, the Orchid really paying off.
They got to just keep doing it. I mean, this is working. They've got the charge. The Orchid is ready. They've also got a very short cooldown to Rapture. Oh, yeah.
The friend, why are you there? Boy takes it down. So they need to fight the arm once, but they're gonna try anyway. Mars using the magic stick, but yes, Orchid. Gabby in the backline. That's the double kill point. Allofury cleaving to the rest of RR. Magnetize is out as Hostile will pull Gabby back, but Gabby just gonna make forward. Doesn't really matter. KYXY says, I'm out. But an arrow! Tim! He lands it on KYXY, and the Sentron's gonna help out. KYXY wants to get away, but nah, Gabby's not gonna let that happen. Triple kill for this AM. TNC. Another great fight for them.
Oh, that was very ambitious. They wanted to come in after Drew had more or less been picked off, but it just, I think it fell back to the syndrome of just trickling in, right? I don't think we've ever seen a game where trickling in ever ends up going your way. Reality Rift, they lose another pretty big team fight, and of course the anti-mage was involved, so Gabby getting quite a bit of gold out of this too.
Yeah,
I'm worried because it feels like they're getting a bit reckless. And if anything, Drew shouldn't have been alone in that top lane.
Well, the anti-mage is now 9-1-3. Just got the fresh Manta. Going for the Halberd next. It's really going to prevent Drew from doing much in any fights.
Continue farming. If anything, TNC have the late game secure. They're running an anti-mage. There is no fear in the late game. If Piranha can scale late game, Vimpango does a reasonable job scaling into late game. And then of course you've got the Earth Spirit who, although he doesn't become that really big powerhouse in the late game, he is an absolute nuisance, especially once he starts considering a Aghanim Scepter. So starts turning heroes into stone. Here we go.
Such a night to deal with as a smoke from TNC. It's gonna be broken by Alacrity. Alacrity will get away, but not now. Going for the ward fight. Great penalty guys bouncing through the rest of TNC, and Hustler will come right in. Great tap for at the Sonic Wave. And the round to KP. KP also go down. Scabby into the back. I'm gonna find us and avoid, but they have to use to aid the Remnant. They find it, they pull it back. They need more damage though. Moonlight Shadow is out. They pump it back with the back. The Q of Gabby, and now immediately TNC they want to retreat from this as RR would want to continue. Magnetize is really huge as Tim to the Moonlight Shadow try to TP the 8 Remnant, not able to keep him in the edge. Actually TP's out 50, but nonetheless, that's the fight that RR has been looking for. Win that.
That was a big team fight, and the reason being was that they actually tried to bottle themselves. Obviously, when they want to run out of the river, they got bottled by that path back to the Dino side. And of course, if you're Reality Rift, you've got so much AoE control on your team. And Nuts, he just came in, Maledicted 3. He didn't even go for the cast first. That was huge because, of course, Maledict more damage you do, more damage ticks. So that was beautiful. Just the total team coming in from the Radiant side, converging in together, and Gabby, I think Gabby got a little ahead of himself there because, of course, he went in just to kill Nuts, but if you're going to lose your life as an mage to kill off a Witch Doctor, no.
Yeah, he
not
was
a trade.
playing into a very dangerous position. Well, RR just converged on him. We saw Nuts now. He bought the Holy Locket for himself. as Armel with the Blade Mail a huge threat in fights, but KYXY he gets himself his own Blade Mail. These two will be frontlining for the team, but TNC still have a pretty substantial lead that they can work.
Yeah, they're not out of it yet. Of course, they lost a big team fight, but it's, at the end of the day, it's the anti-mage factor. All they need to do is just go back to farming mode on the AM, and under normal circumstances, he shouldn't die. He's got the match style, he's got the spell shield, he's a very difficult target to take down. So as long as he just plays it safe, Gabby will get that farm. It's just up to Reality Rift. Can they speed this game enough and finish it before Gabby becomes a factor?
I think Gabby's always going to be hitting a decent time, and 4,000 go ahead of Drew and Alacrity. He almost got that help. So smoke from RR.
Another fight coming, and this is a BKB on Alacrity as well. So of course they are building for fighting items now.
Drew can't be the first one to join the fight. He has to at his time. The C team's Hustler as TNC. They also have the catch win of RR. KP just got his fresh use, and Gabby got that fresh Halberd. It's gonna be a pretty important fight. He's gonna break. Here comes Armel, rolls right in, gets immediately by the all KO angle coming through, but he still runs through the ice, but he gets stopped. KP is gonna roll right in with the rolling done. The Rattler is gonna try and catch on KP, but he's gonna short bumble out. And Armel kicking KO angle away from the fight. The Sonic Wave, really getting on Armel, but you see Gabby joining the fight. Immediately he pulls out Alacrity with that metal point. And Drew, well, he runs fast, but he's not running into the fight. He's actually running away. He says, that's not a baby. I am too fast for people to kill me, but I'm gonna ban 3 of my teammates. He's gonna outrun Gabby.
He's running. Oh my goodness, this is the Roadrunner show. This is brilliant.
Well, RR, they lose 4 members, but I guess Drew was able to run away. That's good news. Look at him go.
Yeah, it's still going. My goodness. He could still potentially be a target though. If he decides to maybe try and jump in onto looks like I think he is trying to make that wrap around onto Drew. And they've also got the Earth Spirit coming in. Oh, Drew, does he know that it's coming?
Not as fast as Manta, okay.
Oh, they see him.
Roll. Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did.
Goodbye. Oh, that's
Middle
sometimes you can't outrun your fate. It just shows up in lane right after getting away.
Yep.
And good fortification from TNC as well. They made sure that the creep wave stays, not get killed by the blood right. And well, Drew took it and he was desperately trying to play out that creep wave.
Yeah, I think Reality Rift, they're losing steam now. They're down by 10k gold. It's supposed to be them leading. They're supposed to be the ones with the item advantage, the level advantage, start pushing high ground by now, but it's TNC and they're running an anti-mage who not playing traditional anti-mage, normally you're farming in the jungle, but Gabby's been fighting with the team. Looks like they're going to be losing the Jakira here to Alacrity. And are they going to try and engage into this? Hustlers in the jungle, but there's so many heroes nearby.
Oh man, they have no idea. Dota is being taken. Alacrity getting a double kill. They lost their XY, but this is a smart move here. They're going to get Roshan for free.
Yeah, with the anti-mage too, so if you catch him once, it's okay. They've got the Aegis. There's no way they catch him twice. And now with the Basher, it's a he's spiraling out of control.
March just got his flats as well. So this TNC lineup is coming online so fast, and they're not able to keep up. Greaves now on KP. He just got his use not long ago, and now he has got his Greaves. This is an absolute nightmare for RR to deal with.
I'm just wondering, how do you even deal with Gabby? Because I don't actually think he'd prepare if he could hit. He'd be more than happy to fight through it.
Yeah, no.
There's no one that can trade with him one-on-one.
No. I think TNC now they can smoke out the pro fight.
I don't have green light today, but it should be coming off cooldown pretty soon. Will they run into? Oh, they might run into Drew and Hustler.
Yeah, if they win this fight,
or is it going to
Aegis.
Or is it Alacrity?
Oh, we check high ground. Alacrity breaks the smoke. Not Zuzu there. It's not running. Drew! Drew! It is such a dangerous position. They're going to jump onto it. Gabby straight towards the backline. Sonic Wave comes right through. Hostile in the backline as well, but Gabby will finish off Drew. Seems like RR cannot take this fight at all. March, double kill. Gets magnetized. Then let's try used by KYX, but actually blinks away. But KYX will get bumped back onto the cliff. But Alacrity just getting chased down by this anti-mage. RR, just lose 3 members and take none.
This might just be the final nail in the coffin.
Hello.
See, oh, so just trying to get out of there. He might be able to outrun the spider legs.
They know where he is.
Tower is under attack. Middle tower is
Get out.
Get the courier, come on.
Oh, double heals.
Similarly, yeah, it's his prime time. Hostile, the great escape.
The greatest of all escape.
They're still looking for. They even use the moonlight shadow.
Is under attack.
Come on, Slash.
Under attack.
Still
Radiant's
going.
middle tower.
They're gonna see
They
it.
didn't know.
Oh, it's badly. Now they know.
Still going?
Oh, wait,
No,
they don't?
They don't know.
He has TP, but he's just biding his time.
This clears the creep wave while he's at it too. Oh goodness.
Get out, friend.
This guy.
Oh,
Wait.
they have no way to stop him.
The creeps.
Oh, that's the net. That was dead. Oh well.
Almost had it.
Oh, he did have a good run.
All the tips as well. Oh my goodness, the 200 tips. Oh dear. I mean, Hustler, they did his job. You know, triple feed. Gotta keep the game going. Make sure that there's at least some time for Reality Rift to potentially find a comeback here.
Yeah, I can't really blame them. The clumsy net from KP
Came in handy.
Oh, freaking found by RR.
Might be looking at another big team fight. I know for a fact Nuts is terrified of this anti-mage because every single time Gabby has just been wailing on the poor with Doctor. Oh,
Look at Nuts. Well,
it's a real.
then he's good. Oh. Just can't outrun the net.
He's trying.
Yeah. It's a post fight with shock and there's nothing he can do.
Oh, they're gonna find all that green.
Radiant
Looks like Doctor's gonna play it safe.
It's gonna be another high round defense and 30 minutes of this home.
KB is on the spirit.
30 minutes, and this anti-mage is 14 and 2. He has 4 core items and the Aegis. Nah, how are you gonna fight him? There's no way that anyone can fight this anti-mage. Gabby is way too strong now.
And even if Drew wanted to try and 1v1 the anti-mage, there's the halberd on Gabby. So just pops the halberd onto the Bloodseeker. What do you really do? Nothing really.
Radiant's
Gabby can just solo kill. Solo carry, yep.
Oh
Alpha
my
is dead.
goodness.
Early end to the RR the final will be. Push Gabby back, but a great arrow from TNC. KYX is down to be the next victim. Magnus has been thrown out. Gabby straight goes back. High five from KYX. Starting with pump two. Hits on the Gabby, but he does have the Aegis. So he does really care. KYX charges right in. Just saying to drop the blood right on top of everyone from TNC. But this is the walkout from the KP now starts the with Thunder. KYX he brought back so he can't die. They have one up in channel with Gabby. Immediately towards the back line. Then Anna boy. Most of the damage is free. Then this RML and Gabby is unstoppable. Still want to buy back, but seems like the only time that they can utilize his buyback is probably the next game as TNC is completely demolishes what they have in mind. And this is going to be at least one set of rack.
Yeah, it just seemed that from the get-go, especially during the laning phase, it was never really Reality Rift's game.
Yep.
They didn't have it from the laning stage. They didn't have it from the beginning of the mid game. They just sort of ended up getting counted that every team type.
And what boom, just one out again. They're gonna finish him off as Gabby is gonna work on Alacrity. Julie by Knight. But now it's him, Nuts, and Hustler. Rupture onto our mount, they pull him back. But they from Hustler, but where's the damage? The damage is not dead. Now Nuts is gone by Gabby, and Gabby keeps the damage. That's a dieback. And Hustler gets used up, it gets caught. Another use to make sure that Drew regrets his decision. He puts his fresh BKB, runs back into the fountain, and that's all she got. Hustler will forfeit his life as that's the GG call. Or they can't stand this no more. TNC would take this 2-0.
This was a pretty tough game, especially when you didn't really get the momentum you were looking for from that laning stage. It was just, TNC, they reinforced the way that they reinforced these team fights. It was perfect because they